when you're filling out a form, you forget what address you're registered to vote at or those sorts of things. You make mistakes. That happens to people. So we need 870-some thousand, I think, ballot signatures. But we're looking for more than 1 million to make sure we cover for people who make mistakes. So if you'd like to learn more about how to sign the petition, go to repealthedeathtax.com. We've made it very easy for you. It's on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. You can print it out. You can sign it, make copies. You can give it to your friends. Have them sign it. We need more than 1 million signatures. Some of the things that people commonly make mistakes on is, it's the address you're registered to vote at. If you don't know what address you're registered to vote at, it's the address that you your ballot comes in the mail. It's very simple for you. Your ballot comes in the mail, and so you fill that out. You sign it. You put the address you're registered to vote at. You sign it, and you write this circulator. You are the circulator. You can be your own circulator. You're witnessing the signatures. That's a common mistake we see with people. I'm getting a cue here that I'm supposed to tell you to call in. Our phone number is 415-808-5600. Feel free to call, and you can talk to me while Susan figures out how to talk to me as well. I tell you, Susan is the brains of the operation. She's the voice of this, and she's got me doing it here. But that's what we're doing for you. Anyways, I am Scott. This is Repeal the Death Tax. This is Repeal the Death Tax Petition Party. RepealTheDeathTax.com. You can call in and talk to me at 415-808-5600. Perfect. Still don't hear Susan, so I'm gonna keep going. Anyways, do we have any callers? No callers.
Yes,
so if you'd like to call in, 415-808-5600. I gotta tell you, I got a story recently from a lady who called me. She's in the nursing home, and she said I printed out your. She's 100 years old. She's in a wheelchair. She printed out our petition. She's going door to door at the nursing home and collecting signatures. So if you think you can't do it, you can. And we ask you to. It's repealthedeathtax.com. And we'd love to have your signatures. We need more than 1 million signatures to qualify this, and we'd love to have you on. Again, the phone number is 415-808-5600. I am Scott. I'm with the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. With me is Susan, although she's taken a vow of silence at the moment. We're just so interested in this that's the devotion that we have. We're taking a vow of silence. You can go again to repealthedeathtax.com. That's the website. That's where you can download and print your 8.5 by 11 petition. You can download and print. It's very easy. You can make copies. You can send it to everyone you know. We need to get this going like a chain letter. We need 1 million signatures. There are something like 20 million registered voters in this state. We can do it a dozen times over. We need 1.2 million signatures by January 16th. Feel free to call in 415-808-5600. And we have Michael on line 1. Michael, go ahead. Michael, can you hear me? Can we put Michael on line 1, please?
Hello.
Hello, Michael. I hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Back before Prop 13, our taxes assessed value. Then when Prop 13 kicked in, the property tax went to 100% of the assessed value. So that now, whenever we change, like my daughter just bought a new condo, she's now paying $800,000 for the sucker. She's paying like $1,000 a month just in property tax. So what are we going to do about those guys in the whole state? I don't know if they're getting a windfall of property tax because of it picking it up to 100% of the property value. And the other thing is, my mother-in-law passed away last year, and we ended up having to sell her house because of exactly this, because nobody could move into it.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll take your first question first. So the answer is everyone has Prop 13. You know, it's obviously you're paying 1% of purchase price. That's what if you bought the home, that's what she's looking at. She's paying 1%, which is obviously more on an $800,000 house than it was on a $100,000 house in 1970 or whatever. But it's 1% of purchase price. Without Prop 13, you'd be paying more than double. You'd be paying about 2.6% on average. That's what it was before Prop 13. 2.6% of market, and that was every single year as a condition of keeping the home. Now it's 1% of purchase price. You're locked in at that, and then it can't increase more than 2% a year on that 1%. So anyone, you own a home in the first year, you would be paying more than double in taxes without Prop 13 than you are now. That's what you're looking at. So Prop 13 saves everyone money. It saves me money. I'm 36 years old. If I bought a house 2 years ago, I would be paying more than double than what I'm paying now in property taxes thanks to Prop 13. Obviously, the longer I live in the home, those savings are going to increase, and that was really kind of by design because the issue that they were having in 1978 was that old folks, you know, who were on fixed incomes were losing their homes. So that's how it works. You know, the other question about, you know, you're in this situation, you had to sell your family home because of Prop 19. You know, that we're doing this for you. Unfortunately, you know, if you sold it, we can't get it back for you, but hopefully for folks going forward, we can solve this problem. And that's why we need you to go to repealthedeathtax.com, print and sign the petition, mail it back to us. It fits in a normal letter-sized envelope, put a stamp on it, send it right back to us. We need 1.2 million signatures by January 16th. Thank you for calling, Michael. I appreciate it. I'm told we have Susan in Santa Clara on line 3. Can I get Susan in Santa Clara on line 3?
Hello.
Hello, Susan. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
I'm all right. You know, we're trying to work through some technical difficulties here. I wasn't expecting to run this whole thing, but I appreciate you coming on and talking with me and me fill this time. What are you calling about?
Well, first of all, I hope that you and Susan both had a nice Thanksgiving. And my question is, since last week's broadcast, have you seen an increase in the number of petitions that have arrived in the office?
I will tell you, it is. You know, I don't know if it's because of this broadcast. I hope this is working. You know, we're going to do this every Friday for you. But from what I can tell, I'm not actively involved in the counting of the signatures. But what I'm told is that it is increasing. We're getting more in than we got in last week and the week before. So we are certainly seeing an increase. We haven't hit 25% yet, so we still need a lot more to qualify. So if you have petitions that are sitting on the kitchen counter, send them back as soon as you can. We'd rather have them sooner rather than later. You know, if we get them all, you know, what Howard Jarvis found, you know, Susan was telling me recently that he looked into Howard Jarvis' book about, you know, what his guidance was, because, you know, Prop 13. And he talked about how they got almost all of them back, like the last month. Prop 13 wasn't going to make it, and then the last month they came in like manna from heaven. And we're hoping to avoid that, because counting 1.2 million signatures, he needed less signatures in 1970. Counting 1.2 million signatures in a month is a lot of work. So please get them back to us as soon as you can. But yes, to answer your question, we are seeing an increase. We're very excited about that. We're doing better at this point in the process than we did last time. They're coming in leaps and bounds faster than they were last time. And we're very excited about that. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, you'll be seeing my name, I'm sure, because I think I must have filled out at least 100 of those.
And we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's good. And, you know, and I keep hearing the numbers keep changing. I heard 1.3 million signatures that we need, 1.2 million, 1 million. So we just tell people going forward that we need 1.2 million or 1.3, or what's the number we should be giving out?
So the real number is the ballot. We need a ballot number. The ballot number of signatures we need is based off of the last gubernatorial election. That's how they set these things. We need 800. I think it's about 870,000 valid
Okay.
signature. But people make mistakes, right? Not every single person that fills out this petition is going to fill it out at the right address, or they're going to forget to fill out the circulator or something like that. So we want cover, right? Because what will happen is on January 16th, when you mail back your petition to us, we're going to count them. We're going to sort them by county, and then we're going to send them back to the county that they came from, because that's who's going to check them. It is the county you're from. So I think you said you're from Santa Ana. Is that right?
No,
Santa Clara. I'm sorry, Santa Clara. So they're going to go back. So your petition are going to go back to Santa Clara County. Santa Clara and the Santa Clara Registrar of Voters is going to count them. They're going to count them. They're going to check the address for if you're a voter and those sort of things. That's how they're going to decide if these are valid signatures or not. We want them to pass on the quick count. They're going to pull out signatures at random and check them and decide that statistically we have enough. We don't want to go to a full count just because it takes a long time, and we want to get this on the ballot. So it's better to get as many signatures as we can. So yeah, we throw out a lot of numbers: 1 million, 1.2 million, 1.3 million. The reality is we need as many signatures as we can get, because the more signatures we get, the more likely it is to qualify. So more than 1 million, 1.2, whatever you want to say, just as many as we possibly can. That's the answer.
Okay, that's great. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, we have a caller on line 2. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, my name is Mikael, and I live in Los Angeles.
Hello.
And I just want to make a couple of statements here.
Mm-hmm.
Our government is purposely robbing the wealth from the baby boomers by taking advantage of the ignorance of our current generation. Property and wealth are covariants in California, especially with the rise in homelessness that we see every day. Middle-class people are trying to keep their jobs and have no place to live. And so with the sacrifices that we offer to the Proposition 13, the reduced services, the reduced education, art and music was removed from our schools, we cannot allow those sacrifices be wasted by not allowing our current generation, our future generation, to have homes to live in. I am thoroughly upset with this whole dynamic, and we need to step up and fight back.
Well, thank you very much for your call. We appreciate your thoughts. And you're right. We gotta make sure that the next generation can own and keep property. Next up, we have Kay from Santa Clara on line 4. Kay, go ahead.
Hi, this is Jay from Santa Clara.
Jay, I'm sorry. I had you as Kay. I apologize. Go ahead, Jay.
No problem. I'm concerned about, Prop 58 is an extension of Prop 13. Now, CAR and Special Interest Group got rid of Prop 58 through some field ways. So it's due to the voters. Are they going to do similar things to Prop 13 too? So we need to take preventive action by getting Prop 58 back and protect Prop 13.
Not only are they trying to go after Prop 13, they are. I mean, you're absolutely right. We consider, Prop 58, an extension of Prop 13. You're right. It's Howard Jarvis believes that the tax code should not be weaponized to run you out of your home. And that's true whether or not you're elderly or you're inheriting property from your parents. It's the same premise, right? The tax code should not be weaponized to run you out of your home. That said, you're right about Prop 19, you're right about Prop 13. They're always trying to find ways to get around Prop 13. One of the big ways they're trying to get around Prop 13 is by lowering the 2/3 requirement for special taxes. They've put ACA 1 and ACA 13 on the ballot. That's going to be voted on next November. So watch out for those. We don't have a proposition number yet, but we'll let you know what we do. And those are trying to make it harder to raise taxes. That's what ACA 13 is doing. But ACA 1 lowers the requirement for special taxes from 2/3 to 55%. And if they do that, they're going to raise your taxes all over the place, and they're going to find ways to get around Prop 13. And that's what they're trying to do. You know, we're trying to fix these things. It's also a bad court decision that did something similar, lower the 2/3 threshold. We're actually working, we're working on repeal the death tax, but we're also working on something called the Taxpayer Protection and Government Accountability Act. That's the next shot in the war to protect Prop 13. That's already qualified for the ballot, so we'll be looking for that in November of next year. We're going to close some loopholes that the legislature and the courts have opened up in Prop 13. So, I mean, we're fighting on every front in this battle. You know, they're always trying to come after Prop 13, but the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association has been here since 1978, and we're going to continue to fight for you. And I really appreciate your call, and I appreciate your concern, and make sure that you just, you're a member of the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, and we'll keep you up to date on everything we're doing. Thank you for calling, sir. I think up next we have Calvin on line 6 has a question about can he download the.
Oh my God.
Like my sister?
No.
Calvin?
No.
Sounds like Calvin's having some technical difficulties, so maybe we should. Nope. Well, I think that is it. Oh, we have Karen on line 5. Karen, can you hear me?
Hi, Scott. Yes, I can hear you. This is Karen. I'm in South Orange County, and I have a comment and 2 questions. My first comment is that the tax assessor that I called with the county told me that the tax assessors hate Prop 19 because it's so cruel, and that they have to be the bearer of bad tidings every single day. My question is, my mother still is 98 years old. She still lives in the house that my parents bought in 1962. It's obviously, we're in a point, so it's, it's probably worth at least $1.2 or 3 at this point. I have moved in and made it my permanent address to take care of her. But my question is, if 98, if she passes away before this ballot initiative, let's say it's on the ballot, and if it passes, would I be out of luck?
Karen, let me stop you there because I got to go to a hard break. But stay on the line. We're going to come back. I'm going to come back after the call, after the break, and answer your question. Okay. We will be back.
On the Dumbarton Bridge, this is eastbound. All lanes remained blocked. This is due to a crash that was involving 6 cars. They did have 2 of the westbound lanes that the emergency crews blocked. Those have been reopened, but again, the eastbound lanes remain closed on the Dumbarton Bridge. Bad traffic. I'm Joe Salvatore.
This report is sponsored by Whole Foods Market. Find produce favorites at Whole Foods Market. Get 2 large hot avocados from Mexico for $4. This Friday, November 28th. Match them on sourdough or into spicy guac to add grease to your plate. Also buy black, shop in store or online. Turn the pot.
All right, folks. This is it. The weekend many of you have been waiting for. Black Friday. The lowest prices of the year on the top-rated brands of TV. Samsung, LG, and Sony, with deals up to $1,000 off. No need to buy a poorly rated unknown brand with prices like this. So what could be even better? How about video only? Better than Black Friday deals. That's right, better than Black Friday. Before you buy, check out video only, or you'll be sorry.
Oh, Mr. Candlelit,
Yes.
there you are.
I'm here for my counseling session.
Yes, you are. And I forgot you have a fear of opening doors. Please come in. You just need an incentive, like S&G Carpet's grand opening sale.
Grand opening sale?
S&G just opened a new showroom in Northwest Arkansas, and to celebrate, they'll pay your sales tax and give you up to 20% off select flooring.
Even Paris stand?
Even Paris.
Oh.
Let's practice, Mr. Candlelit.
20% off.
Just need to go into any showroom or stop at home with their mobile showroom.
Well, I
40, 40.
It's not cumulative, Mr. Candlelight.
What?
It's only during that grand opening sale that S&G will pay you sales tax and give you up to 20% off.
I was just getting a hang of it. S&G Carpet is growing, and to celebrate the grand opening of their new showroom in Northwest Arkansas, this month S&G will pay your sales tax and give you up to 20% off select stores. In their fair. So SGCarpet.com for the showroom nearest you, or to have their local showroom come to you. Now offering tile and carpet cleaning. Petition for an online consultation with the healthcare provider will determine if the conflict is implied by the details and more safety information. Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but it's 95% cheaper, and you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, with free shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brand at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversation. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY. I think my son back and filter back and something to be compliant. The needs of modern businesses are always changing, but corporate cards haven't evolved in decades. Until now. Meet Ramp, the all-in-one finance platform that combines corporate cards with spend management software. Ramp is the only card designed to actually help your business spend less, not more. With Ramp, you can set custom controls to stop out-of-policy spend before it even happens. And Ramp software even does expense records for you. No more manual entries, no more chasing receipts. And with best-in-class accounting integration, you'll close your books in days, not weeks. Ramp gives you better insights and a real-time view of all company spend, so you can stay focused on the big picture and build a healthier business. Join over 15,000 businesses who switch to Ramp and start saving an average of 5%. Modern finance runs on Ramp. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/radio. That's RAMP.com/radio.
Thanks to your product, I've lost 65 pounds. I've been using your product since 2017. It's weighing 245 pounds, so I'm very happy being under 200 pounds. It gives me energy, and I was taking since day one the Andrew 400 Max. It helped me lose the fat, I mean, really, really fast. In 3 months, I lost 65 pounds. I'm 63 years old, and I'm very happy with the product.
Congratulations, Antonio, on losing 65 pounds in 3 months and keeping that belly fat off for over 6 years with Andro 400 Max. Guys, if you're looking for a great way to lose belly fat, gain energy, and improve your mood, then Andro 400 Max is for you. Andro 400 is safe and natural and helps men like Antonio not only reach their weight loss goals, but also help keep that belly fat off for good. So kickstart your goals today. Go to andro400.com and get free shipping and discount only on andro400.com. That's andro400.com. Talk Radio 560 KSFO. Like us on Facebook at 560 KSFO.
Okay, hold on.
60 KSFO. Party. Find out more about Advertisements.com. We have Karen on line 5. Sorry, I had to cut you off, Karen. Are you back with me?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. If I heard your question right before I had to cut you off, it was, what happens if your mother passes before we get this passed? What happens to you, right? Is that the question?
Yeah, because I've decided we've got 3 heirs. I'm the one sibling that can move in and has made it my primary address at this point. But I just heard you say that even if I'm living in the house and it's my primary address after it passes, the property taxes will still be raised substantially.
Potentially. So
So Prop 19 says that you have to move in. So before it was just you inherited the primary residence, done. There was nothing more to it. There's now kind of a checklist that you have to go through for Prop 19. You have to move in. You have to claim it as your primary residence. The way you do that is by claiming the homeowner's exemption. So don't claim the homeowner. Make sure your mother is claiming the homeowner's exemption, because you need to claim it, and then you need to claim it once you move in. It works both ways. You both have to be claiming it, because that's how you establish primary residency. And then the property has to be worth less than base year plus $1 million. So base year is your Prop 13 value. So check your assessment when the assessor sends you your property taxes, which is coming pretty soon. It's about November when it comes. Check it, see what the base value is, and then do the math. Base year plus $1 million. If you're under that, you're not going to be reassessed. You're going to be okay. If you're over that, anything that's over that is going to be reassessed. So, for people living in the Bay Area or the LA area where property is very expensive because of where it is, even if you move in, a lot of people are going to see reassessments, and it can be pretty sizable. But hopefully you're not one of those people, so give that a look. Did I answer your question?
Why doesn't my mother already claim the homeowner's exemption?
You might. You want to check to make sure. When you get your property taxes, it'll probably be on the property tax. When you get your property taxes, there will be a box that says whether or not you claim it. You can also just pull your property tax information from the assessor, and it will tell you, which is a box. It's really just a check box. And so just check to make sure that box is checked.
All right.
Okay. Well, thanks.
And then,
go ahead.
So, if it goes into, if the initiative does pass, but my mother passes away before then,
it will be retroactive. So our initiative is retroactive. So we can't do anything about any property taxes you might have to pay while it's the law. We can't change that. But after it passes, it would go back to the way it was. You'd be able to file a claim, and the assessor would put your property taxes back to your mother's property tax. It is retroactive.
Thank you so much.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Susan. Welcome aboard.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for holding up the show here while we had technical difficulties. I'm at the KABC studio in Los Angeles, and we're experimenting with technology, and it's working out about the way you'd expect a Frankenstein experiment to work out, but we've got it solved now. So I just want to tell you that we have more callers. We have Fred in Walnut Creek. Fred, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you.
You're a little quiet, Fred, but I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. First, before I forget, what website do to vote on that Prop 13?
You mean Prop 19? Where do you get the petition? It's repealthedeathtax.com. Repealthedeathtax.com.
Wait just a second. Deathtax.com. Okay,
Yes,
what I want to do is I didn't have full attention. I was driving and I was listening to a talk radio program, and the gist of it was that if you sell your home in California and you don't immediately switch over for the capital gains to buy another home, then it's obvious that you're leaving the state. And our wonderful governor Mussolini has some kind of $20,000 tax that you must pay. Do I have my ducks in a straight line? Does that apply to everyone, or is that only?
That's not what we're doing. That's not the death tax that we're talking about. This is about when you inherit your parents' home and it gets reassessed, those sorts of things. I would check with an estate planner or an estate attorney to figure out that. I honestly don't know. I don't know to the best of my ability, but I can look into it for you. So
Doesn't sound typical.
I wouldn't be surprised, sir, but it's not something that I've heard of. But I'd be more than happy to look into it at a future date. But I'm gonna have to let you go because I don't have an answer to you at the moment. But feel free to give us a call at our office in Sacramento, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. See if we can figure out that question for you. We have so thank you for your call. We have Jim in Los Angeles on line 2. Jim, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thanks, Scott. Can you hear me?
I can, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys taking the time to address this issue. And the one thing I want to bring up is
You know, I think all Californians were duped by the deceptive ad campaign that they initially put out in regards to this ballot. And it's really infuriating. But the one thing that happened to me is my mom recently passed back in May. My brother and I are going through the estate, and we've decided to kind of split the assets evenly, where he would acquire the home. And it would work out where it would be a split of the estate. But the one thing we found out, and I don't know if you're aware of this, in California's infinite way of deceiving us, there is a clause that if the property is assessed over $1 million and you do follow the rules to get into the home properly, acquire the home legally, that anything over $1 million wouldn't be assessed, but anything over would. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, well, it's base year plus $1 million. It's a little bit more than that. It's your Prop 13 value. It's whatever that 1%, 2% a year, your Prop 13 assessed value. It's that plus $1 million. So it's a little bit more than $1 million, but it's not much more. But yeah, you're right. Even if you move in, claim it as your primary residence, you know, if your property taxes, if your Prop 13 value is $100,000, you're looking at 1.1 million. So if you have a $1.5 million house, yeah, you're looking at a reassessment, even if you move in, and it can be pretty sizable. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
That is unbelievable. And I just want to make sure that we're by repealing the death tax, that it's not going to have a lot of this deceptive language in it. It would go back to the old way, correct?
It would. Yeah, we're putting it back just the way it was. You can go on repealthedeathtax.com, download the petition. It's one page. It's really like 4 paragraphs. You can read it yourself. But it just sunsets this part of Prop 19. That's all it does. So it's a complete reversion back to the way it was. No.
Okay. And real quick, is there kind of a push to get this to more homeowners, given that it wasn't repealed on the last effort?
Yeah, I mean that's part of doing the one-page petition. Previously, we did one of those the long ones you see at the supermarket where you have like 15 signatures on it, and we just didn't get enough signatures. So we went back to the drawing board to figure out how we can get it in more hands. And we thought this 8.5 by 11 thing that you can print at home is the way to do that. Yeah, and so that frees up money. We're not doing all this shipping and sending these big long petitions to you print out at home. That saves up our money to, do stuff like this, do radio. We're doing radio here in San Francisco. We're doing radio in LA. We're doing ads all over the state. We're doing digital advertising, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, we're definitely trying to get it into more people's hands.
I truly appreciate it, and I'm sure a lot of people do. And let's get this repealed, and let's move forward with this, and let the homeowners kind of win over all these deceptive practices in the state. Thank you.
We're going to try. Thank you, Jim. Thank you for your call. I have Francis in Simi Valley on line 3. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
All right. I'm a 74-year-old retired senior. In 2000, I bought a house, and my daughter has been renting it from me ever since. I needed to get my car fixed, and since I was retired and didn't have any money, I had to take out a loan on that house.
Mm-hmm.
In order to get the loan, my daughter had to be a co-signer on the loan, and she had to be added to the property. And now they've reassessed the house, the property tax, and it's now $1,000 more, of which I don't really have that money. I've appealed it, but if we repeal the death tax, would that change do you think that would change my property tax back to what it was?
So this might be one for you, because this gets a little complicated. She took out a loan to help pay for maintenance on her car, because she doesn't have the money, so she took it out. But to do it, she had to add her daughter to the title. They wanted her daughter added to the title on the house, and she got reassessed as a result. She wants to know if repeal the death tax passes, will that help her?
Well, typically, if you change the title and you add someone who's not a spouse, and it's a 50-50, then you get a 50% reassessment. Now, there may be a category, I'm not certain, call the assessor's office and ask them, or call the Board of Equalization. I'll find that number for you in a second. And find out if someone is added to the title just for the purpose of a loan, if that's in a different category, because it's something in the back of my memory says it might be. But generally speaking, if the title is changed, there is a reassessment because of that. Whenever you change the title, people often ask us, if they change the title and transfer the property to their children or put their children on the title, will that evade this situation? And unfortunately, that creates a lot of other situations. You get a reassessment at the time for the fraction that the child now owns, and it creates capital gains issues. So you should always talk to a lawyer and an accountant before you change the title on property in California, just as a general rule. And let me find the Board of Equalization number. You can go to CLC.
I have it.
You have it? Okay.
Of course I do. I've got all of this information up. So if you want to go check the DOE's website, it is www.doe.ca.gov, but their phone number is 916-274-3350. That's their property tax department. 916-274-3350. And they might be able to help, because there are different kinds of exclusions, like co-tenancy exclusions and those sorts of things that you may qualify for that would prevent that reassessment. So it is something you want to look into and see what your unique situation offers.
Great, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for calling. We have Daniel.
The Board of Equalization is the state agency that oversees property tax assessment in California. So you can always go to their website at doe.ca.gov and get a lot of answers to your Prop 19 questions, because they have a really good frequently asked questions page that covers a lot of it.
They have a whole section devoted to it. You go on the website, it's right at the top. Proposition 19, click here. They know it's a problem too. They're getting the calls like we are. We have Daniel in Los Angeles on line 4.
Hi there, can you hear me?
I can, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it. I wanted to ask, what are the chances of this repeal actually happening, given that the last one wasn't successful? Do you have any idea on that? Because would it be worded in such a way that people will be similarly deceived this time around?
Well, we hope not. Ours. So Susan, the question was, I think you're having trouble hearing the callers, is how likely do we think we can get this passed?
Exactly.
Well, we think it will pass. Let me tell you the story of how it passed the first time. In 1986, it was the situation after Prop 13 passed in 1978 was that a change of ownership was defined by the legislature, and they had defined death and inheritance as a change of ownership, just like a sale on the open market. And people were so upset about it because as they were inheriting property, the tax bill was skyrocketing with the inflation that was going on at the time. People were so upset that the legislature was under enough pressure that they passed this parent-child transfer exclusion for the home of any value and up to $1 million of assessed value of other property, like a small business. They passed that unanimously in both houses. Not one opposing vote. And then it went on the ballot and it passed with 75% voter approval. And now it's gone. Now, why is it gone? It's gone because people were tricked into thinking they were voting on something that only helped wildfire victims and seniors, and they didn't know this was in there. So our job is to make sure that once we qualify this for the ballot, whatever they name it, whatever they call it, we're going to get the message out that this is protecting parent-child transfer of property in California. That's our job. And your job right now listening to this is to make sure we get it on the ballot. The only way we do that is if we get enough signatures within this narrow time frame. 666 is the clock. We need to get more than 1 million signatures on petitions in our offices by the middle of January. So don't do what I'm doing, which is carry them around and wait to send them in. Send them in now. I have to send mine in too. I have a big stack. Send them in. Stack them up and then send them in. We have to get 1 million signatures, and call your friends, text your friends, email your friends and family, and let them know that they can all go to repealthedeathtax.com and instantly, no waiting,
instantly, they can print the official legal petition and sign it. Has to be in ink, has to be paper, can't do it electronically, but you can print it at home.
Right.
Send it in.
I wanted to ask, I already did that. I printed it out, but I was wondering, there's the last sheet there, and the last sheet has only 2 spaces for people to sign it. You have to print multiple ones of that last
Yes.
sheet?
Exactly, that's what you have to do. And the reason that we only have 2 is because we wanted to fit it on 11-inch piece of paper, 8.5 by 11, standard letter size paper. That was essential to this effort. If we printed one that was on legal size paper that was longer and had more signatures, and somebody made copies of it, they might shrink it, and then it would not be valid, because the state of California is very picky about the font size. So it has to be at 8.5 by 11. Make as many copies as you like. Be sure to fill in that declaration of circulator on each one, which certifies that you saw the signatures. You know those are the people who said they were the people, and you're the person who watched them. That's what this declaration of circulator means. You're just attesting that you saw those signatures, and then send them in.
And let's say this, everything works out, this gets on the ballot, it gets passed, the repeal of the Prop 19. When will it become effective?
Comes effective the following January 1st. Is that right, Scott? No, now I can't hear Scott. Well, if you can hear me, I
can't hear Scott. I can only hear you.
Oh, you can only
hear me now.
Now we can hear you. Okay.
Yeah. I muted myself out of respect to you, Susan, like speaking, and I forgot it. To answer your question, it would be December 30. It'd be January 1st, 2025, but it would be retroactive. So it's going back, even though it starts January 1st, 2025, it would be retroactive. Obviously, it would pass us on the November 2024 ballot, so it wouldn't be that long. And I did want to go back to your comments about the deception and the language that they use. And no matter what the Attorney General's title and summary they give us, our initiative is 5 paragraphs. People can read it. People can read it for themselves and see what it does. And I'm very confident, and we're very confident, because we've done polling on this, and it polls very well. The hardest part about this is going to be to get it on the ballot. We think if it's on the ballot, it passes. Well, we're very confident.
Okay.
We just need to collect signatures.
And who controls the messaging, the language on the ballot?
So the title and summary is by the Attorney General. But the actual text of the initiative will also be in the voter information guide, so people can read it for themselves. But the title and summary will be the Attorney General.
Okay. So the Attorney General can skew it to favor whatever they would like.
They can, yes.
They can influence the messaging. Okay. Yes. And do you guys have any way of sort of mitigating that if they're skewing it in the direction that will not be useful?
Well, I mean, we can, if they say anything that's factually untrue, we can take them to court. We have the right to go to court if we think the title and summary is unfair. That's difficult to do. But ultimately, I think what we're going to do is obviously we're going to, run a campaign. We're going to run a campaign and tell people what it does. And, and at the end of the day, don't believe what the AG says. Read the initiative for yourself. It's 5 paragraphs. People,
right.
I'm confident people can do that. Prop 19 was this big old long thing. Ours is 5 paragraphs, and really only 4 of them pertain to what you're worried about. The 5th one is just about farmers and those sorts of things to make sure that farmers are protected as well. But it's 5 paragraphs. We're confident.
I think the sad reality is a lot of people don't read all the 5 paragraphs. They would just read the headline. I mean, I think that's just the way things are. So I hope that headline or that AG summary is useful.
We hope so too.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Yep. We have Nick in San Clemente on line 1.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can, sir. Go ahead.
Sure. Great. So, hey, I'm the poster child for this Prop 19. My mother, I'm 67 years old. My mother passed away in February. I have 2 siblings. I live in Northern California. I'm the only one that can get into this house that we have that you've had since 1963. My dad passed away a number of years ago. So found out about this Prop 19, and it's criminal that my mother, who we're all very close to, she dies, and the next thing you know, I've got to sell a house in Northern California so I can get the equity to buy out my brothers to own this house in Southern California.
because of Prop 19, and I can't rent it out. I have to move. I have to live in the house, and the whole time we're grieving the loss of someone we love, and it's just unbelievable that well, it's not unbelievable that our government would actually put this on the back of the citizen. So this is. So I actually went through my Yahoo email list. I sent this petition out to 500 people on my email list, and they are just coming back to me like shocked because they too got duped to see the and I work with a fire district, so to see pictures of people who lost their homes in fire disasters, and to see disabled veterans in wheelchairs and seniors that can transfer their tax base up to 3 times. I learned this all in the last 6 months through a lot of pain and anxiety, hiring a trust lawyer. And, they won the hearts of the state without even telling them about the whole tax implications. It's absolutely criminal. So kudos for you for doing this. Anything I can do to help. You can take my picture, put me on a poster. I mean, I'm the classic guy that stuff to this. And by the way, for your listeners, if you have siblings, like I heard a couple other callers, because we've had to do this so quick, there was not enough in my mother's estate to divide it up equally so that I would end up the house. I had to sell our house to book it, but I couldn't pay my brothers directly. I had to take out a trust loan at 1.5% for the fair market value of the house, and in order to pay off my brothers. I could have just paid them cash, but I couldn't do that without having the property reassessed. So any of you that have siblings, you're going to divide up the home, and there isn't enough in the estate to divide it equally, including the home itself. Then you just beware that you can't just go out and buy out your brothers. Anyway, that was long-winded. Am I still on the air?
Yes, you are. And thank you very much for stating that so beautifully, because we couldn't have said it better.
I know. It's just awful. So I'll do anything I can. You got my number. Call me. I'm going to send out more of these petitions. And I go to fire stations because I'm a chaplain with a big fire district. And I tell these firefighters about what's going on, and they're just aghast because one of the California Fire Association, they kind of got behind this, but the firefighters don't even know. They don't even know. They didn't even know what this was all about. All the homeowners, the firefighters, crazy, just crazy. Anyway, thank you. Appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you, Nick, and we'll be in touch because that's a very moving story, and we completely agree with you. This is criminal.
I know.
This is a giant tax increase. Thank you so much for the call. It's a giant tax increase on people who have just lost a parent. Who thought this was a good idea? Only in Sacramento, where they just look at numbers and they don't look at people. We are just about out of time here, so I want to wrap up by saying that you can go to repealthedeathtax.com. That's the only link you need, repealthedeathtax.com, and download the petition. Call your friends, text your friends, email your friends, tell everybody we're here every Friday night. This is the Repeal the Death Tax Petition Party. I'm Susan Selling, Vice President of Communications for the Howard Service Taxpayers Association. Thank you to Scott Kaufman, our Legislative Director, for a great job tonight. Thank you to everybody at KSFO for working through these problems technically, and we'll see you next Friday at 6 p.m. Thanks again.